the what we're looking at is a book about drawing, then a Dungeons and Dragons book, a box where I have cables, and on top of that I use my capo I think for my guitar, and I clip my cell phone, and that's the tripod basically. Okay, so
The poor trap.
yeah, exactly.
Poor version.
Very poor version, right? So basically,
Effective, but poor.
it works, yeah. So basically, what I do with this thing is I hold the comedy diary that I put on my YouTube channel, and it's really just for me, right? It's just for me, and maybe some comments see it sometimes. But it kind of like just, huh?
It's just precise sometimes.
Like, I did one with David Zuniga, right? You know him. He has like 25 views.
Ooh,
And whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
it's
so
good.
it's just for me.
It's
And
nice.
others have like 6. So like, I've talked about like, first time I saw Joey Elias and his crowd work. I was like, wow, what the fuck, you know? Or Andrew Searles, like the advice that he gave me. Or just like little pieces of advice that I get here and there. Or just like comics that I meet or experience, like bombing. Like one time I bombed like 6 times in a row. Yeah.
Oh, six
Yeah,
times?
5.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
And it never happened to me. 5 times or 6 times. No. So
Sorry.
you do comedy more often too.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. You want to say something? We can.
No.
Okay. So what I don't have a format or anything, and it's really just for me, and it's just like, to me, it's like to keep an you chug tea.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, it's like just to have an imprint of like where I'm at in comedy, and just my friends from the scene and stuff like that. Right. So she is one of my friends. This is Alain-Mylène Papillon. Right? Is that,
Yes.
I said you okay. You're a comic.
I am.
You've been doing it for what, like a year and a half, something like that.
Yeah. Even though I did less than you.
Less shows.
Yeah, I had 34, I think.
34 shows.
35 might be yesterday.
Oh, nice. Okay, so basically, what I like to do is like have people over and just ask them questions about like their process and like maybe not their process, but like how they started and where they're at and like maybe a fun experience or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, so like why why did you decide to start doing comedy?
During the pandemic,
Yeah.
I went over stuff to do in my place as I was bored,
Okay.
and I came across a journal that I used to write part of my book
Okay.
that I was started to write before the pandemic.
Okay.
And I didn't felt like doing the book again for many reasons, but I still felt like I needed to talk about those experiences.
Like personal stuff.
Yeah. So I remember started to write like more comedy wise, like more comedy, and realized that it was fun to talk about those subjects in a different light. And then
At that point, were you thinking about doing it on stage? Was it like, oh, this could be stand up, or were you just like, this is just fun? You could do like
I
a
think it
funny
was
book.
just fun. It was just fun, and it was so different from the book that
Gotcha.
I felt that it was really fun. And then I just met a comedian friend who was doing writing a lot. And I was like, okay, I could maybe I could do it. But I've always been afraid of being alone on stage, or I used to do ice skating, and I was afraid of doing ice skating alone.
Okay.
You know?
You said okay, so you were.
I was always afraid. Yeah.
Okay, so you were doing sports.
I was doing sport before,
Wow.
a team sport. You know, like being
Oh, it's a team
alone.
sport?
Yeah, being alone on stage is so different.
So ice skating is a team sport. It's like synchronized.
Synchronized, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I was also doing like with the like couple, like dance. I
Like in
prefer,
pairs?
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But I prefer to do synchronized.
Okay.
So being alone was something that I need to like overcome. Always like to have other people around me, and then do it. When I thought of doing stand up, I was like, oh, that's gonna be hard for you.
So where did you do it for the first time?
I did at Melrose with Amarez.
No. So you did showcase
I did showcase for the first time, yeah.
on your first time
On my first time, yeah.
on a tough crowd.
Yeah, and they loved it.
They loved it.
They Amar got them like really hot, so they were really like open.
Did he mention it was your first time?
He did.
Ah,
he
that's
did.
sweet.
It was really
Amar is
sweet.
great.
He was the best.
Okay, so how did that go? Like, okay, wait. What was your first joke you told, if you can say it? And how did you feel before? Because you're like, I don't want to talk for you, but you're like right now you're shaking your leg. You're kind of like a nervous. I'm anxious, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of comics are.
I am.
But you are like, so you know, like before you go on stage, there's different styles of comics. There's ones that are like sitting down reading their shit. There's ones like John Courtois, I think his name, Courtois or something. He goes against a wall and he starts saying his act. Have you ever seen him?
No, I didn't
It's
see
really
anything.
interesting. Yeah, he
Okay.
faces the wall and starts saying his act.
Okay.
And you pace.
I pace, yeah.
Like, I'm saying this because one time we were on a show together at Raw,
Yeah.
and you were pacing so much, it made me nervous. Like, I was nervous for my act when I was like, I knew exactly what I was going to do. It
I
made me
get
nervous.
very nervous. It's true.
That's crazy.
I still
Even
do
after 30 times. After
30
every year.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be until.
Forever.
Yeah, I care about what I talk on stage. At some point, I care a lot about the comedy world too. I just,
In what sense?
in a sense that I wish the best for me, but
Yeah.
I hate to feel that like I wouldn't be enough.
Whoa, okay.
So I think when I go on stage, I'm like, oh, you need to have like at least a joke or something that you're not like destroy after it. I don't know. It makes so much pressure, I guess. On myself.
Wow, that's interesting. You take it very like emotionally,
Oh yeah, I think I take everything emotional,
right?
deeply.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is I saw you yesterday at McLean's. You were one of the acts there.
One
And
of the
when
best nights at McLean's.
The best one so far, not one of
Yeah,
the best.
yeah.
It was full.
It was full. It was the
Yeah.
first time.
I wanted to go on, but the Lotto gods did not favor me. So yeah, you were on, and when you're like now, you're like you got here and you're like very calm, and we had a tea, and you were like very like chill, and you're a little bit of an anxious person.
I
Me
am.
too. I'm not saying that as a criticism. I'm just saying. But then, on stage, you're like so free, right? And like nothing matters. It's such a contrast. How do you like? Is that on purpose? Like, is that like a character that you're playing, or what? Like, what is it?
No, I don't think it's a character. More that it's a part of my personality that just is capable of accepting failures. Also, even though I don't wish it for myself.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I went on stage and I was expecting failures. I was expecting to be
Oh,
the
to fail?
less good
Oh.
of the show. You know, because there were so many good acts.
Even if beep was there, no, I'm just acting like I'm talking shit about someone and I censored it after. It's not. I don't know. Everyone killed yesterday.
I think it was a great show yesterday, but yeah.
Even
I
with,
don't want.
No, I'm just kidding. Everyone was a killer yesterday. That's right.
Everybody probably knows who you're talking about anyway. They saw the list. They saw the logo.
No, but I'm just joking. I'm
Sure.
not. What?
Right.
I swear to God, I'm not saying anyone.
I don't
What the
think.
fuck?
I
Even
think everyone
if
was
Steph
amazing.
LaCour was no, he wasn't even on.
Everyone, I think, brought the best out of they had their act.
Yeah.
And I was expecting to be the less good of the
The worst.
The worst, yeah. And
You weren't.
I
You were
wasn't.
the second worst. Cause beep. No, I'm just kidding.
But I think I got some of the biggest laughs. That's what
Yeah.
Trevor told me.
Yeah.
Trevor Thompson, I think.
Trevor Thompson, yeah. On
And,
the podcast. You like
Zach-
his podcast?
Yeah, I didn't watch it. Sorry.
It's not even
Zach-
video, it's just audio.
Point made.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, even other comics told me that I did good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That I got some of the best laughs. Zach Kick said that he enjoyed
Let me just check if it's still filming, but keep going.
that the crowd was hot.
Yeah, it was great.
I think I kept them on too. Thanks to Dan, who got me like the best intro,
Yeah.
like with the girl who went to the bathroom. It was so
Yes.
easy for me to make like a callback, make the
Yes.
people laugh. Also allow myself some stuff different that I've never done, like they arrive late to my set, so I just repeat the jokes with just like punchline. I've never done that before.
So just to put people in context, because they weren't there, and so I can remember, there were two girls that went to the bathroom while the host was introducing you, and then during your set they came back and you decided to do the jokes all over again.
Yes.
Which
Like,
I felt was a ballsy move, because you could have lost everyone else at that point. And somehow it worked.
Yeah.
Because you were kind of like saying your punchlines like it was no big deal, but it was like super like traumatic. So then the guy, well, you know, and then you just keep on. It was
Yeah,
really
really,
funny.
like, it was the first time doing this, and I think you were great. Like I said, I was expecting to be like not the best, and
Okay.
I think I was so nervous before that I was, of course, if you're failing tonight, it's just normal, and I also haven't done it I think in 3 weeks. So it was I was feeling rusty. I was like, it's okay. Everything is aligned for you to fail, and it's okay to fail too. Like, but fail by trying something on or doing something that you enjoy. So I think I just went on. I was ready to fail. I just felt the moment. Someone was vibing a lot with me. It was a great exchange.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So, besides yesterday, do you remember like your best set ever? Like, do you remember like the time you were like, "Fuck"? Because sometimes you get off stage and you're like, "I am a comic. Like, I'm so good." Yesterday you were like that a little bit.
Yesterday felt amazing. Like I said, I asked the crowd to stop because I was like, I got enough laugh.
Yeah.
Like I could just.
I've had enough. Yeah, you said I had enough.
I'm leaving, and leaving them on a high like this was really great.
It's like it's like. I don't know. I don't want to have a sexual analogy, but it's like, okay, you only come by, and then you leave them high and dry, and I was like, no, you don't get to. Anyway, okay, so.
But I did the Zach Kick show at the Parc du Devoir.
Yes.
And the crowd was loving me, but I was in the same attitude. I came up from a rough night, and I went there and I was killing it by just being so okay by failing or by not being perfect.
Yeah, and then you have fun, right?
I had
That's
so
what I've
much
noticed.
fun. Yeah.
Yesterday, sorry, I make this about me, but yesterday, I think you were there. I was outside. No, but I mean, like at this moment, like many things happened last night.
Did you lost consciousness?
I think you were there. No, I think you were there. A person was outside smoking, and he said, "Oh, I saw you yesterday at Grumpy's."
Oh yeah, I was
said,
there.
And
with his friend.
Yes, it was like beep, fucking annoying. Whoops, I censored the wrong part. He said to me, "Hey, I really liked you because you seemed to not expect laughs. You were just having fun."
He did say that.
Something like that, and I was like, "That's great," because like, I don't know, I just felt, and that's how I feel like your act is. It's like you're just having fun up there.
I tried to do that.
That's what I mean by free.
But
I want to
it
be
wasn't
like
always
you.
like this. You know, when I started, the first time you asked me for my first joke, I still do it. You know, I
Did I ask you
still
for
do
your
it.
first joke now?
Yeah, you did. You did. What
I
was
thought
your
I just
first
thought
joke?
about it. Okay.
No, you did say it. And my first joke, I still do it. I just.
You want to say it?
Sure. I said like the first time I got dumped, I was sucking the guy's dick.
Okay.
And I'm saying like, it was probably personal.
Yeah.
Obviously, but it mostly felt like a very harsh critique of my blowjob skills.
Gotcha.
And then I'm like 5 or 10 more minutes. Too much for him. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just
yeah.
very hurtful. I'm like, nowadays, every relationship that doesn't end up with a flaccid penis in my mouth, I call it a win. And
That's great.
I still use it.
That's great.
And I just try to play with the words, but that's it. I still like that part because it makes me have a really good comeback for later on.
That's the kind of joke that's kind of like proof that comedy is a lot like about tragedy and the distance. Is that if I can say it now, and like it's so tragic.
It was my
It's
ex.
true, right? It's true.
It's all true, and it was my
Wow.
ex like 13 years ago, and he was still following me on Instagram until very recently, until he saw the video, and then he probably unfollowed me.
Is this beep?
It's not the first beep. It's not the second beep. It's the third beep.
Oh, the
Beep.
third beep. Okay, good.
But the first time I did my show, though, I said his name on stage, and
that's why you got cancelled.
I didn't get cancelled, but I did say his name, not his full name, just like his first name. And I realized I was like, oh, it's maybe too isolating.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just
Could say a fake
keep
name.
it large. It could be any name. Didn't have to say his real name.
Yeah. It's
So jokes like move over time, like they transform over time. But The base is still there.
Do you remember? So the first time you said it, you said the name, and now what you've changed is like, is it shorter? Is it faster?
I had
More
much
tags?
more text. I had like more tag, yeah, like for each.
Before?
Yeah.
And then you eliminated what didn't
A
work.
bunch. I still use them sometimes. It's not my favorite set. So I try to like keep it just because I know it works so good.
Why don't
People
you like it? Because it's sex.
Yeah, it's too sexual. It's not even my favorite kind of humor. I like absurdity. Like Arsene Weinreb for me is
Oh yeah, Harrison.
classic. Eric Andre show for me. That kind of humor.
Oh,
is-
the Eric Andrews show.
Dark
yeah.
humor is my type.
Okay.
So I'm not even my own type of comedian.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. I was you sent me that article by Gary something.
Goldman, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, do the comedy that you would like to see in the world.
Yeah, be the comedian
I don't
that you want to be.
I don't
yeah.
think. I think I'm doing what I can.
Yeah.
Are you doing what you want to see in the world, or are you doing what you can?
I'm slowly doing what I want to see.
Which
like
is what?
with like my new set about like observation and like absurdity, like about ponies or stuff. It's more like
the stickers.
yeah, it's more like
Silly.
vapid. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
that's more my type.
Yeah.
I'm reaching for that goal. I think at first I'd be like you. I think I was just doing what I can with what I knew. It was personal. It was a good take. I thought I was super original. You know, when I wrote it, I thought I was like, yeah, it's super original. People don't like bash on themselves so hard. It's like,
Yeah.
and
Everyone
does.
Oh, that's all they do, on stage and off stage. I had the same idea with astrology. It's like no one's doing jokes about astrology.
Yeah.
And my first joke was about astrology, and on that show no one did. But then like I was like, oh, everyone's doing the same. And Scorpios, everyone's making fun of Scorpios and shit. It's like, okay, whatever.
I think on my night at Melrose, we were maybe 12. I was right before Sugar Sammy. That was super interesting for a first night.
Shit, that's crazy.
I was like, I'm kind of like the opener of Sugar Sammy,
That's
you know,
crazy,
in some
yeah.
ways. I'm his first part. And yeah, I remember I was on that show and on 12, like 11, I'd say, talked about romantic
Yeah.
partner or, I mean, it's what people know and what people
Yeah,
experience every day. It's okay to
It's
talk about it. It's
relatable.
just, I was like, you know, I want to be able to be that one person that makes everyone laugh without having to talk about relationships, sex, anything. I'd like to be able to talk about cars, dragons, and whatever I want.
That's interesting. But I think in general, really, having constraints
Yeah,
breeds creativity and like coming up with other stuff.
of course.
So now you're happier with your, because I feel like you're forming a new set now. From
I'm
what I've seen, like
trying.
you're trying to form something new, right?
Yeah.
And are you happy with like the new stuff you're coming up with, or?
I find it very challenging to like have a new opener. That's for me the hardest part. I know that I can start with like this opener that I told, and it works because I have the perfect callback for the end. So it's just, like I know that I can wrap
Yes.
my sets. That I really like. I could be 5 or 10 minutes. I know I can wrap my set in some ways. I have those two.
Yeah.
In between, I will love that it becomes so strong that can actually replace this first
Yes.
sexual opening and use something more about my family being like the only one not baptized or the scouts version of it. I used to do that. It just works less.
I also feel like that about my opener. I have multiple openers, but like the one that I have that I know works the best is the one that I like the least. It's I feel like it's caveman humor almost. It's like it's the one about Colombia. Like I was just in Colombia, so if anyone wants some coke, and people laugh because of the word coke or like just like oh, so Colombians they have. It's so like caveman. It's like ooga booga. Like everyone's like oh, you know, like that's how I feel about it. It's like you fucking caveman, you laugh at this shit. It's stupid, but that's really how I feel about it. But also, I know that if I do that, they'll laugh at everything else I say. Those are my best sets, so it sucks.
Yeah, I get
You know
it.
what I mean?
I get it. My best sets are also the one that I include some sexual parts. I mean, it's okay. I feel everyone should be allowed to talk about whatever they want.
Yes.
It's just like having a clean set for me is also like a goal. I would say that
Yeah.
I can bring to corporate
Yes,
like
a context,
shows
yeah.
or something that is more PC.
Okay, can I ask you a question that's gonna maybe sound weird?
Okay, of course.
Do you think that if you do sexual material, you think it plays in your favor because you're a woman? Or does it change anything at all, or no?
I feel that like people, I've seen a lot of like other comics doing jokes about sex in a more like positive way, like less like they're not like ripping on on themselves, like they're not like bashing
or on their partner,
or I feel like I'm just judging me in all situation. I never like bash on the other that I like. Is it playing in my favors? I don't think so. I think people love to hear joke about sex because it makes them realize that they're less weird than they think.
It breaks a taboo also,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, they're talking about sex? Oh, wow, okay.
But not playing in my favor, I wouldn't say that. I think
no?
actually,
you think it doesn't change anything?
I think it's the best when you see like an Addison wine where we just talk about water.
Yeah.
You know? That breaks
Yes.
everyone else. They're like, how can you be just so funny talking about cake?
It's crazy, right? Like the craft of that guy is just like
so
it's amazing,
that's more my goal. That's why I'm like, I don't think it's playing my favors to talk about the same subject than everyone else.
Yeah, no, I think I just meant specifically sex as a woman, but maybe it doesn't change anything.
I think that people like to hear about sex
regardless.
experience, and
because I do material about sex too.
Yeah.
But I do it in a way where like I'm the loser of the story all the time, or like
that's what I do.
I'm the desperate person in the story, or like it's really pathetic what I say about sex, right? Because my experiences are pathetic. I'm sorry, you're saying. And people, it's no, but it just makes them feel better about themselves. I feel like it's like this guy,
But I think that's okay. For answering your question in a different light. Yes, I think people can look at me and be like, what the fuck? That her first experience was the guy, she was sucking the guy's dick and he was like, I don't love you no more. It sounds very desperate and I don't think I'm the perfect cat.
He couldn't wait, right?
Yeah, he couldn't.
Couldn't he say it before?
I was probably using my thing, like, I don't know.
Like,
you should ask him that.
It's just interesting because I feel like he knew he didn't love you before he had.
Oh, definitely. He was already thinking about it for sure.
But then he was like, oh, maybe I can get a little tongue twister, a bit of a tongue twister.
That's my joke of like, maybe 5 minutes out of 10 was too much. Maybe it was like, I cannot live with that. This is not good enough for me.
I can't take this no more.
Exactly.
That's funny.
But I guess to answer like you said on a different light, I think I don't have the perfect cast for that joke. People are shocked. They're like, I don't think like I don't know. So people are surprised, I think, too. When they come ask me, they're like, is that for real? It was just for a joke. And people like don't really. I think it helps and it doesn't help.
Has anyone come up to you after trying to be like, I won't break up with you?
All the time.
Really?
People are like, oh, I would have let you go on, or they're like,
that's terrible.
You can practice on me anytime.
Whoa, for real?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I got so many.
Wow. Okay, so we've talked about how you started, kind of, right? We talked about how your current set, like your last set and stuff. What do you see? Where do you want to go? Like, what would you like to like? Is there a local show that you would like to do, or is there like a show somewhere? Like, is there something that you like to like open your? I don't know.
I would love to do it like elsewhere for sure.
Yeah.
Before that, I would just love to have like a grade 10. I find it so challenging to go to 5 to 10. I know that some people are like, oh, you need to do it so.
Have you done many 10s?
I did one. And I don't think I even did a 10. I think I did like a 7.5 or something. I get so nervous that when I'm done, I can just quit. I'm just like, oh.
I feel like
it's not okay.
I love doing 10s or 12s. I love it, but I'm spreading myself thin. Like I have to do crowd work or I have to do something in the middle.
I don't know. I think I have so much jokes. Like I could have definitely like a 15, okay? Like I have like a 5 that I know that works. I have another 5 I know that works.
Yeah.
So I know that I have a 10 and I'm working towards like a 15 of time, but it doesn't work all the time together. It doesn't mix all great together. So I don't think I have a 15.
And that's why can't stitch it.
Yeah, for me it's like it's just too stiff. It sounds so like robotic. So like it cannot work.
Gotcha.
Even if I have, I think the material line, like a joke.
It's too sparse. Like
Yeah.
there's too many different subjects.
You just go to many places. And I don't know how to wrap it up for 15.
And I don't
or
know how to do
10.
that either.
And people are like, oh, you need to do like more and more, but I'm like, can I have like this perfect, super tight 5 before I even think about the 10? Some people want to go fast.
Yeah.
I like to go super slow. And
wow, that's very interesting.
Some people want to like become something. I just like how it makes me feel. So I'm really fine with how I handle my. I like to go on stage and be prepared. I know that I'm prepared. I know that I have material. I have something new to try.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like basically, maybe this is something we can talk about. It's how some comics on the scene, they want to do comedy. Like that's what they want to do, right? Like they wish that this was their day job and they would do nothing else. Like I'm there. Like I would like to be really good and be able to just do that. I love the adventure of comedy, like the fun of it, everything around it, and like actually being on stage.
Would you like to be famous?
No, I would not like to be famous. I would just like to be working.
So make it like a career, but not necessarily have to.
Yeah, just be a working comic.
Cool.
I would like that. Yeah.
Would you like to be like a writer, or that's not?
No, I want to perform and write. Yeah, I want to do stand up. Yeah. Okay, so there's that. And then you have people that are like doing it as a hobby or just because they really like it, but they don't have any like objectives or anything like that. And you do it because you like
how it makes you feel.
How it makes you feel. Yeah. That's really cool.
I mean, I think I don't want to pressure myself.
Yeah.
Like I want to do it and know that I like doing it. The moment that I will stop will be the moment that I have no more fun doing it.
That's great, yeah.
And if I have no more fun, like what's the point of doing something you don't have fun? And I feel it like I've done it 2 weeks where I had like 4 or 5 shows.
And you didn't like it?
And it was not my favorite because I felt that I was rushing, that I was trying to do something new without even realizing what I did the previous day before and work on it. So it felt just that I was like accumulating a bunch of things that I should worked on even more.
It's a lot of work.
It's
a lot of mental work.
Yeah, it's one of the first like arts that you actually have to like practice in front of people. I think you had this conversation with Troy Stark.
Yeah.
He was like, when you're a painter, you can practice for like
musician,
hours
play, like,
at your place. No one's there.
Yeah.
No one criticizing you.
Yeah.
But art, you have to, like comedy art, you have to do it in front of people to know if it works. Because
it's the only truth.
Your joke in my mouth and with my rhythm could not work.
It sounds different, yeah.
Or same vice versa, you know?
Yeah.
Like Harrison, I couldn't do a water joke.
Yeah.
I know that it's not my style, I don't have his timing.
But you can find your version of his act. Like, you know how he has a unique act?
Yeah.
You can get to a level where you find what makes you unique like that, and people are gonna be like, oh, Alain-Mylène, like, oh yeah, she's the one that does these things, just the way Harrison does it. You'll never be Harrison, but you'll also never be Molly Brisbois. You'll never be Steph. You'll never be anyone.
I have to be Alain-Mylène, that's for sure.
Exactly.
It's just, for me, it's so personal.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where the beauty of it comes, is someone can be so unique by their way of their saying their jokes and their approach of the personage that they're creating, the character that they're creating, like on stage.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you think about your character when you're on stage? Like what you're coming off as?
Yeah, I do a lot, and I don't know what it is. But this is a problem with me in my life in general, where I think I have 2 extremes, where I'm very nice or very sarcastic, and I think I do, or very silly, and I do both, or I do many different things on stage. I think I'm many different things.
Okay.
So I'm not yet directed. So that's why I'm happy when I go up and I'm just someone that has fun. Because then that's my character. He's a dude that went up and had fun.
Mm-hmm.
And he did whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for now, it's that. But I look forward to like being able to be more myself on stage. More my me, like... Because my mean self, like the one that's sarcastic and like a bit of like, that likes to like...
The ones that I have a hard time understanding.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, the one that everyone has a hard time understanding. That's like my favorite rhythm of comedy for me. So I wish I could go up and develop that in a way where people will like it. You know what I mean?
But you
'Cause
need
now
to
it's-
fail to get it together
Yes, yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Chris Douglas said it the best at Rise that the comedian have to walk some lines sometimes
Yep.
that are very risky just to find the perfect balance at the end.
Totally.
Like, so sometimes they're gonna have to go over those boundaries that are not supposed to be crossed.
That's why
Say,
people shouldn't film or record or anything.
Yeah, you don't want to fail someone's careers before even starting.
Okay, maybe we can end on this, but like, I'm so annoyed when I'm like at Raw or something and someone's liking, I guess it's because they like the show a lot or the comic a lot, and then they start filming with their phone, and it's like, what are you gonna be like to your husband, hey, look at this funny fuck that I saw, like, what are you doing, like, why are you recording it, you know?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I know
You've
what you
seen
mean. I've seen it. I have two opinions about it. Like, yes, I understand completely your point. Like, you could take like a misplaced joke and like combine with something like it just comes out as really wrong. But also,
I just don't understand why they're filming.
but also, have you seen those people getting like super famous on TikTok and everything?
Sure.
Because someone just filmed them, and then the perfect moment of the algorithm like made them
Do
much
you-
more bigger. So like, do you want to play with that too, with fate and like maybe?
Okay, but do you think the person that's filming you, because it happened to me where like I'm having a good set and then I see someone that's just filming me, and I lose track, like it takes me out of the moment. I'm like, oh, why is this person filming me? What the fuck?
Yeah.
So, but wait, do you think that person is filming like, and they're thinking, oh, I'm gonna make this motherfucker famous? Like, that's not what they're thinking. They're just like,
no, but they
oh,
could.
this is funny.
Some people are using like their Instagram for personal. Like they could put you in their story and be like, "Oh, this guy was really funny.
Yeah.
This Mexican." I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's one of your joke.
Yeah.
One of your joke.
That's the end of the